every once in a while you stumble upon something that sort of stops you in your tracks and makes you look twice. Well, I read an article just like that this week, and I can't wait to share it with you. Well, hello, this is Wendy Pennell, and if you've heard it once, you've heard it 1,000 times. Dallas is in a seller's market. Texas A&M's Real Estate Center explains that when inventory levels fall to less than 6 months, sellers have control over price and terms, resulting in a seller's market. Well, the key phrase there is less than 6 months. And if we go by that metric, Dallas has been in a seller's market since 2003. So imagine my absolute shock when I came across this article and this article and this article, all saying Dallas is headed towards a buyer's market. And not just any buyer's market, but the top buyer's market in the nation. Hey, how can that be? Well, obviously something big is about to happen in Dallas, and we're gonna dig into that today. We're gonna explore this article, then we're gonna discuss what this means for sellers and what it means for buyers. Oh, and stick around to the end, because if Dallas is headed fast and furious for a buyer's market, I wanted to see which suburb is going to get there first. We're going to take a look at the top 6 counties and figure out where prices are dropping the fastest. So we've got our definition of a seller's market, but what is a buyer's market? And why is this such a big deal? Well, the Texas A&M Real Estate Center describes a buyer's market as a time when demand for housing is low, allowing buyers to dictate price and terms if a seller wants to make a deal. So do you hear that? I mean, a buyer's market means the buyers are in the driver's seat. But hang on a second, according to A&M, that happens when housing inventory exceeds 7 months. You know, in a video I published around a month ago, I reflected on the fact that the housing market seems to be broken. The month supply in Dallas reflects a seller's market, but Dallas is behaving like a buyer's market. Well, all of a sudden, it was, as if the heavens opened up and, a bright light shone down. Suddenly, the market made sense. Now, why is that? Well, because in this article we're going to look at today, NOC uses 6 metrics to decide whether or not an area is in a buyer's or seller's market. All 6 metrics are equally weighted, and get this, month supply is only one of them. NOC explains that these 6 equally weighted measures each represent 6 years of monthly data. They use that to create what they call their buyer-seller market index. They go on to describe that by observing trends in these measures, the index can forecast housing market conditions 12 months from now. And when they did that, when they used those 6 metrics combined, they concluded Dallas is in a buyer's market. And again, not just any buyer's market, but the top buyer's market in the nation. So what are these 6 magical metrics? Well, they're all the metrics that real estate professionals have minimized, described as fleeting, sort of pushed under the rug, whilst all the while holding up the holy grail of months supply. For example, the first metric was average sales price to ask price ratio. In January, in Dallas, it was 93.4%. Now, what this means is on average, a home that was listed for $400,000 in January actually sold for $373,000. Now, what does NOC predict for 2023? 95.6%. So just looking at January, we're not that far off from that prediction. Score 1 for NOC. The second metric NOC uses is the number of homes sold. They predict that the amount of homes sold year over year will be down 12.5%. Well, just for fun, I compared Netrist trends from a year ago, and guess what? January to January, the number of homes sold is down 20%. Now, keep in mind, January is seasonally the slowest month of the year, but that number still hurts. Their third metric is median days on market. In other words, the number of days between when a property is listed and when it's taken off the market. Well, in 2022, Dallas averaged 37 days on the market. In January, it was 39. So we haven't seen, a big change there. But looking forward into 2023, NOC predicts that the median days on market are forecast to continue to rise. They predict that by December, a typical home is expected to sell in 52 days. The fourth metric NOC uses is median sales price. Throughout the second half of 2022, median sales prices dropped throughout Dallas. So no doubt that played a key factor in the analysis. But the question is, will that continue as we head into this raging buyer's market? Well, NOC's prediction on this was not what I expected. They listed that the median sales price in Dallas would increase by 6.3% in 2023. So you're telling me we're going to be the top buyer's market in the nation, but prices are still going to go up? This one has me scratching my head a little bit.
Wait a minute.
We do know there is mass migration into the area, right? We know 300 people a day are moving into Dallas, and we know that new construction is more expensive, but prices going up in the top buyer's market in the nation. Love to hear your thoughts on that one. Definitely comment below. Metric number 5 has to do with months supply. Oh yes, we're finally getting to month supply. Remember, this is the singular metric real estate professionals use to define whether or not an area is in a buyer or seller's market. Well, NOC predicts a 4.3 month supply in Dallas in 2023. Well, according to NAR and Texas A&M, that would still put Dallas squarely in a seller's market. And this really shows how NOC is not allowing the month supply metric to call all the shots. It's taking that 4.3 month supply forecast, combining it with 5 other metrics, and declaring Dallas a top buyer's market. Well, in terms of the here and now, Dallas as a whole is at 2.5 months supply. So where is NOC getting this idea that it could jump to a 4.3 month supply? Well, that brings me to the 6th and final metric, inventory. Now, I think this one's really going to surprise you. NOC predicts that inventory in Dallas will increase by an astounding 100.4%. A 100% increase in inventory in 1 year. NOC did comment that when it comes to inventory around the pandemic timeframe, Dallas did not see the same massive declines as the rest of the nation. They reported that in Dallas, inventory declined by 34% compared with 42% elsewhere. So Dallas isn't going into 2023 with as much of a shortage, but that's not enough to double inventory. So I also took a look at the real deal. In August of 2022, they reported that when it comes to new construction, Dallas-Fort Worth ranked number 1 in the nation with 54,281 housing starts. Well, number 1 in the nation in new construction would, definitely amp up that inventory, but a lot has happened since August of 2022. So how about 2023? Well, Bill Hethcock with the Dallas Business Journal reports that single-family building permits are down by double digits. He says, for example, permits to build houses were down 34% in Salina and 30% in Frisco in 2022 compared to 2021. So, I think ultimately all of NOC's predictions are impacted by this premise of Dallas doubling its inventory in 1 year, but did not take into account how much new construction has stalled out. I really think the accuracy of this forecast is really going to have to play out dependent on what new construction does. I'd really be interested in hearing your opinions on this. Definitely comment below. Is Dallas in a seller's market due to the low month supply metric, or is it poised to become the top buyer's market in the nation? So definitely comment below. All right, but what does this all mean for buyers and sellers? Well, for sellers, NOC believes the housing market will gain seasonal momentum towards sellers in the spring and then move firmly into buyer's market territory by summer. They commented that buyers are expected to return in the spring, creating a window for sellers. They're basically describing like a pocket of opportunity for sellers in the spring, and then the rest of the year being a buyer's market. They did make an interesting comment. They said inventory growth won't necessarily translate into home price declines. So just like I said earlier, they predict that the median sales price in Dallas will increase by 6%. So for sellers, according to NOC, your home's going to be on the market longer, okay? You're only going to average roughly 94% of your list price, but there won't be like an utter price collapse. Well, where's the advantage for buyers then? Why should we celebrate this whole implausible buyer's market? Well, there are some big advantages for buyers. A price crash just won't be one of them. Buyers will be able to be a lot choosier. If NOC is right, there's going to be twice as many homes for buyers to choose from. Also, you'll be able to use previously unpopular loan programs. Like a year ago, if you try to use FHA or VA or USDA loan programs, you didn't stand a chance at having your offer even considered, much less approved. And buyers are going to be able to ask for stuff. The good stuff, like having a seller pay for your closing costs or giving you a flooring allowance. Buyers and sellers, you're both going to have more time. The intensity and pressure of 2021 is over. Woo! You know, Knock doesn't just predict that Dallas is going to become a buyer's market. They predict that it already is one. And based on their metrics they're using, I can kind of see their rationale on that. So where are the best opportunities for Dallas buyers right now? Well, we at Home in Dallas are committed to giving you accurate and objective information. So we took to our computers and really dug into the numbers surrounding Dallas home sales. Speaking of your Home in Dallas team, if you're finding value in this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Circle back around, let's get acquainted. But back to our research, this is what we found. In Denton County, the average sales price in Pilot Point is down 32.8% year over year, with an average sales price of $563,000. So what will you find in Pilot Point? Well, you'll find a mix of both old and new homes. You can find homes under $300,000, and in their Mobberly Farms Watermill subdivision, you can even find new construction under $300,000. You can find homes with acreage, but you won't find affordable homes with acreage. Population is right around like 4,500. Now, other suburbs with steep price declines also in Denton County are Krugerville, Argyle, and Crum. Now, in Collin County, the average sales price in Farmersville is down 27% year over year, with an average sales price of $358,000. So what will you find in Farmersville? Well, you can find a mix of old and new, but not a whole lot of choices when it comes to new. If you're interested in new construction, you'll find it at their Kalina Creek Estates subdivision. You can find moderately priced homes on acreage here. There's not like a whole lot, but there is some. Their population is right around 3,700. Now, other suburbs with steep price declines in Collin County include Prosper, Fairview, and Blue Ridge. In Dallas County, the average sales price in Cedar Hill is down 32.4% year over year, with an average sales price of $282,000. So what will you find in Cedar Hill? Well, you're going to find mostly established homes, lots of 80s and 90s homes, very little, if any, new construction. If you want acreage, you can find it here, especially in their Kingswood and Lake Ridge subdivisions. Their population right now is around like 50,000. Now, other suburbs with steep price declines in Dallas County include Addison, Box Springs, and Glen Heights. Now, Rockwall County, moving on. This is one of the smaller counties. We saw that the average sales price in McClendon Chisholm is down 10.9% year over year, with an average sales price of $559,000. So what will you find here? Well, it has a mix of both old and new. You can find a lot of new construction here, especially in their Sonoma Verde subdivision. Your population is right around 4,200. Other suburbs with price declines, well, Heath home prices were down 7.2%. Moving on to Tarrant County, the average sales price in Kennedale is down 44.9% year over year, with an average sales price of $210,000. So what will you find in Kennedale other than an amazing deal? Well, plenty of 70s, 80s, and 90s ranch style homes set back off the street on nice sized yards. Not very much new construction. The population there is around 9,000. Other suburbs with steep price declines in Tarrant County include Keller, Lake Worth, and Benbrook. And finally, moving on to Ellis County, the average sales price in Venus is down 21% year over year, with an average sales price of $261,000. So what will you find in Venus? Well, you can find new construction in Venus at a good price. Their Patriot Estates subdivision has new construction priced at $300,000. You have a decent shot at finding affordable homes on acreage here too. Population in Venus, right around 4,700. Now, of all 6 counties that I looked at today, you know, from like a big picture wise, the counties, Ellis County have the most solid price stability. The only other suburb in Ellis County with any kind of price prediction was Midlothian, and that was down by 0.5%. It's not really surprising though, because Ellis County is hot. It's in high demand and it's growing super fast. You can get new construction, acreage, I mean pretty much everything at better prices than you'll find anywhere else. In fact, if you want to find out more about that, you'll want to check out this video. In the meantime, Wendy out.